when we're kids, we're really into this. This whole like, oh gosh, the slights and whatever, and we forget that it's about the people. Like, I'm not sure exactly, like if this was a person in the room, I'd be, looking at you guys both the same way. I'm not really sure if I should acknowledge the camera or not. But
Right.
anyway, you would be about the people. You'd be interacting with the people. And as a kid, you're more into, look at this one thing versus let me connect with you, because this is where the magic happens, is up here, not down here or in your hands.
Well, you say
And
something really interesting about that, which is the connection with people, and we're using paper to do it.
this is just a tool,
Yeah.
to connect with somebody, and really, the art form is connecting with people.
Yeah. And whether
Um,
it's a coin or cards or random objects somebody has on them,
yeah,
it's interesting because it's always back to cards, it's always back to coins, but those become important tools for magicians because they appear as if they're everyday items, and in many
Right.
cases they are everyday items, but we're using unique skills with them that take a lot of time to create a memorable moment. And
yeah, we're trying
when-
to bring them to like a moment that make them super present, like extra present, because they're seeing something really brand new and impossible. And when you experience something like that for the first time, you can't help but be completely engulfed in that moment.
and what we're talking about now is the art form.
Yeah.
It's not about the technical level anymore.
No.
But make no mistake, there's a lot of practice time being put in. There's a lot of
gosh,
time that goes into making those mechanical moves that no one's going to see, or
Yeah.
performing certain sleights that are required for a trick. And just as with a lot of performance art, it's about timing, and it's about and in our case with magic, it's about distraction and making sure we can say something in a patter or in dialogue that will connect with someone while we're doing the dirty work that can't be seen.
Right.
And that is where we start to understand, or where you actually, I feel like you have a better grasp of this than I do, about how to find that balance between the technical level and the connection of the art form with the audience. Because now a lot of people are used to seeing magic on TV, which is a
Right.
good thing, not a
Yeah.
bad thing, a very
Yeah.
good thing. But I feel like you have a really good grasp. How do you find that balance between that technical level and making sure there's a connection within the art form?
I think it's really brilliant the way that you put that, the way you articulated that, because it is a balance of all three of those things. It's a love for the art form, and your audience understanding that love that you have for the art form, just like sensing it. They can feel that when it's genuine, and they can also feel when you actually genuinely care about them. I think in my mind, I believe that wholeheartedly. So I think that you kind of have to love magic, and you have to
Yeah.
love people.
Yeah.
And when you love people, they love you, and when you show people that love you what you love, they tend to get excited about it too. So I feel like as long as you're kind of mindful that you're doing the stuff that's calling to you, and your intentions are pure, I think it translates.
Do you find that when you're performing, people have a preconceived notion of what a magician is? So when you walk up and you're doing a gig that's walk around, and you walk up and you introduce yourself, hi, you say,
Yeah.
I'm Matthew, I'm a magician, I'd like to show you something. But people, no matter what you say, are going to have a preconceived notion of what you're about to do.
Yeah.
So how do you kind of balance that out with your introduction and how you get into it, and like you say, it's about the connection, and
Yeah.
everyone's going to have a different reaction.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's funny because as you go through different phases. Like I had different approaches through different times in my life. Certain things that worked for me when I was a kid would never work for me now. Also because of the times. The times change, and magic on TV changes, and what's considered to be the standard for magic has changed. Now, you approach the table, sometimes they're like, oh yeah, it's rinky dinky. Or sometimes they're like, I love magic. I love AGT. Like, show me what you got. That's a totally new
Right.
thing. That didn't used to happen 10, 15 years ago.
Right.
I was chasing people down in the mall, like, watch what I got. Well, I don't like magic. And and
Are you backing off
big
those
ups,
people,
Big
or-
ups to Big Bro Blank, because he's the best. But
Yeah.
when I was a kid, not like a kid, I was like 19. Sorry, brother. But I was like 19. I used to walk up and I'd be like, hey, such and such, like, let me show you some magic.
Yeah.
I'm like David Blaine, but I'm better. It was just a way to
That
get
was the
people to
line.
stop, and that was that was the thing, is before you couldn't get people to stop to watch.
Right.
They assumed that it was something they didn't like. Whereas
Right.
now, a lot of people, think like they like magic because they've seen it on TV and they've seen something that they thought was cool. And when they see it up close, they're like, oh, I feel like the judges on Americans Got Talent, or you
Yeah.
should be on AGT. The dynamic has changed.
Right.
The culture is changing.
Is that the
which
number
is
one
cool.
thing you get? Is people saying, "Oh, AGT," and that
They say
again, not a bad thing. I think we're in
Yeah.
one of the greatest eras of Magic right now. We're
Yeah.
living it
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now.
yeah.
The fact that you do have shows like AGT and Penn and Teller Fool Us and
Yeah.
all these outlets, and just online YouTube in general. There's
Yeah.
people doing magic on you. I mean, just the fact that there's so many outlets to watch this from, and when someone gets to experience it live, it
Yeah.
changes everything.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Well, and I kind of came up in a time when that was like all that mattered. Was the live performance. But the thing is that now the platforms have changed. It's like it's anyone's game. It's not. If you're resourceful, like anybody can do anything almost. With the way that technology is evolving, I think it's just changed the platform. So you see a lot more creativity. You see a lot more artists emerging. A lot of artists that maybe we would have never seen because they would have never had a platform that would have been quality enough to put the artwork out.